Alright, so today we're going to be playing through Black Mesa Black Ops, which is a mod map pack for Black Mesa retail version. You can get it on the workshop. I'll hopefully post the link down in the description. And we're going to analyse it. And there's a lot of good things in this, and there's also some things that possibly would need cleaned up. So this was made by the HECU team. They also made a kind of hazard course mod earlier on in the year. I played it. I don't think I recorded it on this channel. I didn't analyse it, but I'm going to analyse this one because I've played it through already, so I can point out some of the good and bad stuff that's in this. But straight off the bat, I mean, it's great that they can add in different models for these, or different characters. They've got the Black Ops here, and the guns are different. It was slightly... I do always feel that, the installation's slightly annoying, because even though it's for people like me who are in computing science, it's pretty easy, but for other people it's actually quite annoying to have to move about all the files and the Gameinfo.txt and stuff like that. But that's, neither here nor there. So, one thing I'm going to mention later is the fact we're going to come back here and see how it's changed, but I kind of like the way it's set up, where no one's really said anything. Obviously we had the writing at the start, which I still don't know what it said, but it was kind of documenting the time that things happened. But yeah, this is kind of there's no narrative as such, it's just, you can clearly see that these guys have been, I guess, captured. And they're looking about. So I'm going to try and keep the flashlight on. Now I don't know why it does that. I think it's because maybe I'm standing too close to it that something doesn't spawn. I often find that happens. But anyway, yeah, I'll keep the flashlight on because it's dark and it's kind of not super clear what the objective of this level is, but it eventually becomes pretty clear. So there's actually a bit of screaming through the vents. I don't know if you could see anything, but it's just kind of a nice touch. There's something that's in the game that you can do. I probably should be shooting these guys and conserving ammo. Anyway, so there's one thing about this mod that I thought was probably its strongest point, I think, was the exploration aspect. There's so much to... where are we? Yeah, there's so much to see, so much to... Just to look about and see what's going on into different areas that you can't... that don't really serve a purpose in terms of progression, but in terms of... just making the length much longer, I guess. That's what this mod does well. So, okay, I'll just get this guy. But yeah, I do think, even though the point is for you to kind of light the place up, I think this place could still be slightly brighter when you don't have the flashlight on. It's good to use the flashlight, don't get me wrong, I fully agree with that. It's just, it could be slightly brighter just for readability of things. I actually can't remember what's coming next, because it was only yesterday I played it. It's been out for, I think, since the 14th of October or something like that. Anyway, so we can actually turn on the lights, they come on, but then we kind of go in here. I think you could probably go back, possibly. But that was, that sound you heard of kind of some creature, I don't know if it was a zombie, it's actually quite cool, and it actually sets up a good atmosphere, at least the first time I played. Not so much tension, but just kind of that feeling of unease, and it's, you know, that's another thing this mod does actually pretty well. So I was actually expecting something to happen, like something big to happen in these vents, and I think you will see something later, which I think it's probably supposed to be what, you know, the noises were. Anyway. Oh no, the annoying thing is you can't close that door. I'm also not a big fan of the guns. I think the guns, you know, the whole, just the way they are. I don't know where they're from, if they're from Gmod or wherever. Possibly. That was just a presumption, that's not fact, so you better, you know, you might want to go and find out. But, yeah, it's annoying that that door couldn't close in combat, but that's just a minor gripe. It's not game-changing at all. Also, that noise just goes right through you. Oh yeah, so here it was actually unclear where I was to go, because I thought that there was more down here. I wasn't entirely sure that you had to backtrack. I'm not really used to this whole recoil stuff. It just feels weird. Oh. I'm not sure why that pipe's blocking the path, but it's, I guess, you know, just to give it a good feel. Right, so... Again, this is where the exploration comes in. You walk in this room and there's actually nothing much to see, but you do get rewarded with more, you know, I guess a grenade, but it's still rewarding the player. There's actually you know, a good amount of detail that's been put into this. It's a sufficient amount of detail. Oh my word, I'm so bad at combat. This is just so bad. Look. Oh no. There we go. Dispatching of him. Now, this is a really good thing. A good callback. So you've backtracked. And now we've backtracked. We actually see that things have changed. And it gives you that feeling of unease. Like, it really does. It's one of these scary moments. Well, not scary as in terrifying and all that, but it's unnerving. So I really like that. And also, all your vehicles have moved on. Or been killed, or something. Was there anything here? Yeah, there was. I do like stuff being put in boxes, just because it involves interactivity. Alright, so map number 2. I mean, it actually tells you how far you've been walking, although to me that's super pointless. I think that's, you know, you don't need to say that. I mean, the issue with this mod is it tries to create a story, but it doesn't really do well at putting these, I guess we'll call them keyframes. These keyframe points in the story that link it all together. It's very much, you get the dialogue at the start, and then you get stuff towards the end. But it's not like a, you know, basically the plot isn't what's driving you forward. And I do think adding plot into these mods is really difficult. I think if you can't do it properly, it shouldn't be tried. Like, a lot of people say, and you know, I've had this discussion quite recently where I'm against putting dialogue on screen, like actually giving narrative. Like, I'm alright with you saying, like, you know, when it says like Gordon Freeman, theoretical physicist, PhD, whatever like that on screen, I'm alright with that. It's when you actually say on screen, like, go to the generator and turn it off. Not that this mod did that, but you know, if you're wanting to include story, you need to do it properly. Like, I don't know why you would waste, you know, even if you've got a good story, I don't know why you'd waste it by putting text on screen in such a bland, boring way when you can wait to get a good voice actor, maybe a bit of money, a good voice actor, I don't know. But yeah, it just strikes me as odd. And in terms of this, you know, the whole writing on screen wasn't so much the worst thing as, you know, the mod had just started. It wasn't like you were in the player's body when all that text came up. I still don't think it's ideal. But yeah, if you're going to do a story, you need to do it properly or not do it at all. And a lot of people take issue with that, but it's just the way it is. Anyway, so yeah, we're just currently doing all the explorations stuff, which is, as I said, it's really, really good. A lot more mods need this. Too many mods are linear. Corridor, room, corridor, room. But it's good how this gives you the opportunity to, you know, look about, even if there's nothing there. Now, these guys spawned as soon as I switched the thing on. Oh, I can't believe I'm so bad at this killing people. Killing these Vorks. Right, we'll push on. And actually, I do like the way this room's been done. It's actually really well detailed. You may not think so. Like, looking at it, you think, well, that wall's completely bland. It doesn't need to be. For these Black Mesa source maps, and also for your Half-Life 2 maps, you don't need to go over the top. They're not supposed to be realistic. They're just supposed to give you a feel for the area, but they're not supposed to be super in-depth realism. So don't be afraid to not add too much. Okay, I missed that guy, but I don't really care. Zombies are nice to have for downtime. Like, it's combat, and when I usually talk of downtime, I usually mean no combat. But if you've got a bit of downtime where you're just looking about, it's good to add some zombies in then, but zombies too much, you know, too many zombies can be boring, really, so it's good to add them in every now and again, but not a lot of them.
Help! For God's sake!
Okay, so now we get to this big guy. He could have been making the big noise earlier on. I actually remember this bit from the trailer. I thought the trailer was really cool. It actually sold me for some... I can't even remember what it was about the trailer. Could have been like the opening, but it actually made me slightly, you know, gave me that sense of, oh, I really want to play that. Which is very rarely done with trailers, but this one was good. What was that? To me, that's completely pointless spawning that guy in, but it doesn't make the mod any worse. And we're constantly being put under kind of this pressure of tension because this guy, he's bashing away. He's reminding us he's still there, basically, and I think it's something that was done in Black Mesa, and they're doing it now. It's like really well done. This bit, however, so we can stand out here. He's now running, and then we run into here, and the door's closed. And the thing with that encounter was that I feel was a wasted opportunity. That chase could have gone on much longer and could have had a lot more tension put on, because obviously you were walking through that area and you could hear you could hear him banging on the doors, and it was kind of, well, what's going to happen? Are we going to meet him? And then you run into the doors and they close. So what I would have done there is I would have made the corridor, you know, these tunnels much longer, and actually had obstacles. So obviously you can slow the guy down, and there's ways of like stopping him from chasing you so he gets right up to you, but giving the sense that he's always at your back would have been great. And then at the end, even having like a console or a button, making it clear obviously that the player knows to push it, but then having that would have, you know, given that extra, it's on the player to close the doors instead of, you know, because I just walked through and then the door's closed, I didn't have to do anything. Like, it was such a wasted opportunity, but such a good idea. Now the issue with this area, you know how I am with... I don't know why I'm shooting them with a shotgun. I mean, I guess I've got grenades. Yeah. Okay, I didn't do anything. Is that combat should be... Oh, should be focused. Okay, I completely messed that up. How is that not going where I... Okay, that was a complete disaster. Oh yeah, because I'm so bad at combat, therefore any of my criticisms are completely invalid. But the fact is that the battle here isn't focused at all. It doesn't encourage the player to plan ahead. Now, when I say plan ahead, I'm not talking about, you know, sitting there for 5 minutes thinking, how can I take on this? I'm talking about just a quick thought, like, well, I could go here, go there, go there. Here, it just happens too quickly, so using the turrets is good. But then, as soon as I came around here, these guys came out the door. Now you're adding an extra dimension in there, or an extra factor. It becomes... It becomes messy and very unfocused and not fun at all. I had no idea what that was. Actually, yeah, there's some health kits in here. There's also one of these guys over here. It's also great how you can like peer in and look. There's the car from the start, I think. It could be. It's similar. It's definitely a Black Ops car, so it's kind of calling back to the start, which is kind of good, but more callback could have been done with the plot. Now, here we've got an op. I think. It looks like an op. And actually, I think scoping is... yeah, pointless in most scenarios in this. I just feel this battle zone's not very good because you can't back away. What's going on there? Oh, it's like a physics prop. Or rather, yeah, it's prop physics instead of prop dynamic. Or static, rather. Static. Messed that one up. Yeah, but it could have been... these things could have been moved to the other side to give you more of a corner, basically, for battle anyway. Now, this part was interesting because it was like a... he caught me off guard the first time and I had to scramble about, and it actually, you know, it gives you a place to hide down here. You can throw grenades, you can do whatever. It's not as if there's no cover at all. Oh yeah, and then there's this guy. You can eventually take out. And then you've got more, I guess, exploration downtime, which at this point I'm thinking there's slightly too many areas to move about in, with not a lot of other external puzzles to partake in, if you know what I mean. There's no thinking involved. It's move to the next area and fight and then look about. So it's got most of the elements. It just needs a few more. Now obviously I think it does do well with the, you know, placing trip mines here and there, but it could do more, like more puzzles to solve. Places like, I don't know, that area in Half-Life where you've got to jump over these boxes at the start. Where did that go? Is that like a thing here? Right. Yeah, and you just gotta like jump from box to box. It's like not difficult, but it's just something else for you to do other than combat. Actually, I think we've got to go that way. Yeah. So this is a bit of a hint on what's to come. I don't know why these guys aren't firing back. But you can see that there's this guy, and then if you look here, there he is. Oh good, my grenades are going straight this time. And then here, it's just, you just need to duck under here, pick up the stuff, and then that's it. That's all I think there is in this area, unless there's an Easter egg or something, but... It's just making the world seem a bit bigger, giving the player a bit more to do. Also, at this point, we've come in a full circle here, so it's good. It's making, you know, it's as if we're in the same area, but we're moving around it. So the thing I'd say about the ceiling turret, obviously, because you know I've got to say something about it, is that it's better used at long range. If you're going to use one of these things, the best way to use it is at long range, like a sniper in. Like a sniper would be, like the ones in Surface Tension, where you're walking and you can get picked off. Like these guys are supposed to be like further away, but you can slowly make your way towards them and eventually take them out. Because this guy's right here as you're walking past, a few shots and he's down. So it's not utilizing it to its full potential. Basically, that's all I'm saying. Right. Sorry, I'm just hunting about to see if there's anything I missed. And then you open the doors and then these guys spawn. Quickly take them out. Alright, this is quite cool. This is like apart from the trailer I saw that I just thought was really cool. It's just all on fire. Anyway, we'll push on. There's stuff to find in this room, and a health kit, a health charger if you need it. And again, more places off the beaten track for you to find cool weapons and stuff, and head crabs apparently. Actually, that guy caught me up the last time as well. Anyway, it's just not very... That bit could be moved down a bit, just for user friendliness sake. I'll save here. The thing is, I think this battle would have been 10 times cooler if it had been going on while we'd rounded this corner, rather than you walking. But like, what the purpose of that was, that there are turrets there. You know, it's alerting the player to it, so you can then act on it. You can think, well, there's turrets there. I need to throw a grenade. I need to do this and do that. Oh no, I was supposed to get a grenade. And we can... You gotta be kidding me. Like, I don't know what's going on with the grenades, but we can actually... You can still see me there. We can actually go another way. But you see, the thing is, it's kind of... Can we go, you know, that way or this way? So that was surprising that worked. I had no idea that was crazy. But again, it's there for you to do. You know, it's kind of risk reward. You can take on that guy, take on this guy, and here you can do it all at your own time. That's what's good about these things. But then, yeah, then we can push on to try and. And there's a bit of a set sequence here of this thing landing. There's also a lot more rooms to explore, which is crazy. As I said, this does exploration really well. It's just, it could have done more thought puzzles. Now the interesting thing is this area doesn't actually serve a purpose at all. It just doesn't. You can't get out that way. You're in here, but yet the only way these guys spawn is if you come here, which is very unconventional to do that. And then obviously this area is just, you know, doors. Right, so it's time to try and oh, he caught me out that time. Now that's an awful place. As in, when I say it's an awful place, it's actually a really smart place, because if you get caught by this guy and you haven't defeated that guy, you've got him. So that's actually decent. Right, so that was good. We could stealth it. I know it's not really stealth. I know someone's going to be like, it's not stealth. I know it's not stealth. But it gives you the impression that you've outsmarted it. Even though I haven't. Even though that's just how the game works. I've managed to walk around and kill him from above. Which is one of these things that if you can make the player feel smart, then you're doing a good job, basically. I've probably missed a lot of stuff. I know you can jump down to this area and there's stuff to see. I'll actually just go right down here because again there's like a whole lot of things to find, basically. So the thing is, I was looking over here and I couldn't actually see that there was no glass. It wasn't obvious at all, so I was actually walking about there much longer before. But it is super clear that you've got to go and push this button. It lags a bit because like 50 enemies are going to be spawned in. Oh. Now the thing is, when you push that button, you don't actually understand what you've done. As a player, you think, well, what have I achieved by pushing that button? And that's not a good thing. A good thing to do would be to make it known what you were doing as a player. You know, what did the button achieve? What I did achieve, just to point out, is that we opened these doors. And then it ends. So, a few things about that is that it would have been good if that battle had been resolved, where you'd killed them all and then opened the doors. As in, you'd need another way to open the doors, because it wasn't clear. But yeah, it would have been good if that had been resolved properly instead of just running to the exit, although it does give you multiple options. You can either take them on or not. And also, you can also look back to where you were before. And that door just didn't open. And here we can again see where we're going to be. It's actually, again, it's foreshadowing, but only just, and I think that's a good thing. It does feel connected, this world. That's another good thing about it. Anything to find here? Nope. Now, this is where this thing comes in handy. Seems to be the only time it comes in handy. And there could have been more of these long shots that you only needed the sniper for. It would have made it a much more valid choice. Obviously the sniper is just the crossbow, I believe. But yeah, it would have made it much more valid. Anyway, so we get here, and there's even more things to find. I actually didn't come here first time I played. You see what I mean? There's so much to see. And then here is where we were before. I didn't actually notice this. I don't know what on earth is going on there. Maybe this door's just supposed to be closed. This isn't the way, incidentally. I don't know why they opened. I am spending a lot of time looking around just to show you how much looking around there is. And then we get to, I guess it's called the final battle. And actually, to be fair, we could just run right round and get to your crew, and then they shoot you. I don't know why they shoot you. It seems very counterintuitive. Like they're your friends and they just shot you. In terms of the story, it's counterintuitive. But as I said, the story wasn't that great. And then that's it. So, really, that mod had a lot of good things in it. It had a lot of good ideas. It actually executed some of these ideas really well. But as a whole mod, it just didn't hold up to making it a continuous fun experience for the player. You know, not to say you can't have fun playing it. I'm sure there are people who loved that. But in terms of, from a gameplay perspective, it needs a bit more work in terms of pacing, because there's so much looking about a bit of combat, or rather a lot of large chunks of combat together, instead of it being well spaced out, and there's barely any puzzles that you've got to solve, and not puzzles that are like clear, but puzzles that are very, you know, just little things that help break up the fighting and the searching. So overall, it wasn't bad. It just needs cleaned up a bit, and I would encourage the makers to clean it up slightly and fix some of the bugs, and also spread out some of the combat. So if they're ever making something else, which I'm sure they will, I'm sure it'll be much better because I saw the hazard course. It was okay. The hazard course one. I can't remember what it was, after disaster or something like that. This one was getting better, and you're gradually going to progress. So next time when the HECU team are going to make something, I'm pretty sure it's going to be good.